Hey folks, welcome to my channel number 10. So we have the problem on our screen. Limit x tending to 0, e to the power x minus e to the power minus x divided by sine x, right? So this is a problem which has got, the two concepts to it. So one is you're going to be using one of the formulas on your right, which is the exponential limit formulas. And you might have to recollect the formula that we used earlier to solve some of the trigonometric limits, which is as x tends to 0, sine x by x equals 1, right? So the formula that we will quickly be able to connect this with is this one, right? E to the power x minus 1 divided by x. And why is that? Because we have e to the power x in the numerator along with an e to the power minus x, and we have a sine x in the denominator. And if I get to divide within the denominator and multiply by a number x, I think we can quickly solve this particular problem, right? So let's do that. Let's multiply and divide by x in the denominator, right? And see what do we get. Sine x. And here, what am I going to do? All that I'm going to do is divide by x, which means I have an x here, and I still go ahead and multiply it by an x because it does not change the expression in any way, right? So now I have an x here. So now I have two parts to this, right? Let's write this again. Uh, so let's write this as e to the power x, and I can move the x along with this, right? And then I have a whole divided by sine x by x. So I hope you folks got what exactly I'm doing. I have multiplied and divided by an x in the denominator, and I'm using one x with the e to the power x minus e to the power minus x part, and I'm using the other x with the sine x part. And this makes it a lot simpler, right? So we know that I can rearrange my numerator, right? So what is it that I can write it as? I can write this as e to the power x minus 1, and I can do a plus 1 minus e to the power minus x divided by x, right? Let's keep it like this for the minute, and then let's do the sine x by x here. And for a minute, let's park the sine x by x and let's treat this part separately, and let's go about solving this, right? And I'm not going to copy the sine x for now. So let's highlight this. We are picking up only the green part, folks. And when I write this expression, so I can rewrite this expression as e to the power x minus 1 divided by x, right? This is one part, and the other part is 1 minus e to the power minus x divided by x, right? And now we know that the answer for e to the power x minus 1 divided by x, limit x tending to 0, is 1, right? But we still have one more component which might need a little bit of modification. And how do we actually do that? So let's do a simple substitution here. If I substitute my minus x as y, right? I'm talking about this part. Let's call it a different color. I'm calling this part as, say, by a turquoise color. If I And I'm going to go to the next step and treat only the turquoise part, right? And let's rewrite that. So when x tends to 0, if I'm going to replace my minus x, what happens if I'm going to replace my minus x with y, my y will also tend to 0, right? But what will happen to my x in the denominator? My x in the denominator will become a minus y because I'm doing a substitution of minus x equals y, right? So when I rewrite this, what do I get? I get something like this, right? I'm doing it only for the portion highlighted in turquoise color, folks. So do not lose track of that. So 1 minus e raised to the power y. And what happens to my x in the bottom? It becomes a minus y, right? And I can rewrite this when I have 1 minus e to the power y divided by minus y. I move the negative sign to the numerator. So when I bring it to the numerator, it still does not change my expression, and I can rewrite it in a manner that lets us solve this problem quickly, right? So I'm going to write this as minus of 1 minus e to the power y, which is nothing but e to the power, nothing but e to the power y minus 1, and I get my y. And when is all this? When my minus x equals y, right? So now we know we have limit y tending to 0, e to the power y minus 1 divided by y. And what is the answer for this? We know that the answer for this part, which is my, I'm going to represent it again in turquoise, is nothing but is equal to 1, right? So now I'm going to go back to my original expression. So the green part of it, which is this part, right? Let's go back. Let's call it out as green. And what is the answer for that? So the answer for part 1 of the green is 1. And part 2, which is the turquoise, which we just now solved, is also 1. So our answer for one part of the problem, which is the numerator, is 2. And then I go back to the problem, and we do not have to really think about the expression in the denominator because that's a straightforward 1. So our answer to this problem is 2 divided by 1, which is nothing but your 2. So I hope you found this content useful. Please do subscribe to my channel and support. Thank you.